Hi, Eddie Murray, former Detroit Lion. Make sure you watch Mike or Mike on YouTube.
What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Mr. Micro Mike, and today I'm going to talk about the state of the franchise when it comes to the Detroit Lions, news and rumors that's been going on for a week, and just get into it a little bit. Before I get into the video, if you are not a subscriber of mine, what the hell are you doing? Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for all my notifications. Leave me a comment in this video and tell me what you think is going to take place in the next couple of weeks, because we're getting near free agency, the NFL Combine, all sorts of good stuff's happening. We do live shows every Tuesday and Thursday night, whether it be 8 p.m. Eastern Time or 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we talk all about Detroit Lions and the NFL Combine, the NFL Draft, all sorts of NFL talk, so make sure you subscribe if you ain't done so. Now, let's talk about the Detroit Lions, some of the news that's taken place. When it comes to Snacks Harrison, he got released. To me, it's not a big deal that he got released. He showed out great during the year that we traded for him, but this last year, man, he kind of fell off the cliff a little bit. I know he was getting utilized more than he should be, being on the field more than he should have, taking snaps. However, his play did decrease, and it did get worse. And I don't know if it's due to injury or simply for the fact that, he's getting up there in age. I know when Snacks was talking, he just said his mind told him that he could play, but his body just wasn't there. And that happens. It is what it is, and I'm fine with his release. I feel when it comes to the defensive line, we need to go young. We need to pick up some young guys in free agency, as well as pick some guys in the draft. The people that I've talked about when it comes to the NFL Draft, obviously Derek Brown, if they want to go that route, Gilmore, Devon Kinlaw. There's individuals in the draft that they can target even later in the draft if they find somebody in the third, fourth, fifth rounds, whatever. I think we need to get young in there and maybe pick up a couple of individuals in free agency to help beef up that defensive line. When it comes to Mike Daniels, I'm kind of hoping that we don't re-sign him. Again, his injury issues was taking place, and I want none of the injury history. I don't want players with injury issues. This is something that really hurt us last year when it comes to injury. Our players simply could not be on the field, and it affected our play. It affected our win-loss record, and it put a lot of pressure on other individuals to make up plays, like a Snacks Harrison, because he was on the field a little too much. We need to have people that are able to play. The best ability is availability. And when it comes to Snacks Harrison, he was being used too much. His age was getting up there. Mike Daniels, history injury. Also, we got some news that Danny Amendola is going to re-sign for a one-year deal. I'm perfectly fine with that. He was a serviceable wide receiver 3. He was getting used a lot on third down. And considering that we were having such a bad season and he kept fighting throughout the whole season, it made me really appreciate that style that he brought. Even though he's a little bit older, he was still fighting for every catch, every down, even though the season was going bad. I truly, truly appreciate that, and that's something that I value when it comes to playing for the Detroit Lions. It is continuing to work hard, continuing to put your best effort in there, regardless of the record. And with the win now mandate, it's always good to have a savvy vet in there, such as Amendola, to continue to do that. Now I'm curious to see what the amount of contract that he got, because I want to look at this cap situation and see what Bob Quinn is cooking up. He could be going big in free agency. We don't know. But I know that we got Kenny Galladay, possibly a Darius Slay when it comes to signing. So it's important that we have some cap space, whether it be sign our own guys or sign in free agency, but continue to have a fiscally sound Detroit Lions, regardless of the win now mandate for this franchise. It is extremely, extremely important that we keep our finances in order. Regardless who the general manager is, regardless who the head coach is, That is how you win in the NFL, and it's very important to have sound contracts and continue to have a viability when it comes to cap space. Now, when it comes to Matthew Stafford, I know some individuals want him want him to stay on the Lions. I know some individuals don't. They wanted him traded. Well, if you're a team like the Detroit Lions and you decided you wanted to trade him, we simply look at the cap hit. Notice that is not an opportunity that we could take here. And that is due to cap hit. And that's something that we got to look at for all the players on our team. It just shows you the importance of the cap space and why that is, to me, one of the most important and under talked about issues when it comes to the NFL, when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Again, we know I got my degree in economics, and it's important for a franchise to thrive through positive economics, or you're going to end up like a team who put all their capital into older veterans to win in a specific year, and then when it doesn't happen, it falls apart, and their franchise is hurt for many years because of it. And I think that's very important. So when we talk about the cap, let's jump right to Darius Slay. I do believe he probably will get traded, but with the release of Snacks Harrison as well as the resigning, we don't know the contract of Amendola, there is a possibility he could stay. Now again, this is a double-edged sword for both. Keeping Darius Slay on this team this year is a net positive. He's 29, and he obviously makes the secondary better due to his play, but he's 29. And the negative is if you sign him to a massive contract, his play will decrease because he's naturally getting older, as well as he was getting injured a lot. So it's a double-edged sword. I still, at this point, if they found a decent contract for him where he's not wanting some top dollar cornerback, great, I'm all for that. But if he is demanding and making it a very interesting predicament when it comes to contract and cap, then trade him should be a solution to that issue. Now, the combine's starting here soon in the next couple of days, and what's lovely about the NFL Combine is that is when all the general managers, all the coaches, all the people involved when it comes to trades and agents will be all combined, and this is where you're going to see a lot of rumors and trade speculation, even deals. If you look towards a couple of years ago, Alex Smith was traded before the new league year of the NFL, and you could possibly see that with Darius Slay. He may get traded during this combine, so that's something to look forward to see. Deals can't be made, but they cannot be official until the new fiscal year. So we'll look for that to see if there's going to be deals made when it comes to Darius Slay. We should know fairly shortly. If the contract happens, great. If not, we'll know fairly quick. I think that will be something we'll find out fairly soon when it comes to the combine. I'm personally expecting, if you can get a second-round pick out of Darius Slay, if that's what you want, great. If they're wanting a 3 for Darius Slay, personally, I don't want to take that deal because, in my personal opinion, he's going to get a big contract wherever he goes. Thus, we'll probably get a third-round compensation pick for him next year. But that's all speculation at this point, and that's just my personal preference when it comes to compensation. If you can get more than a 2, fabulous. I still think that is unlikely, but we shall see. Also, we're going to hear a lot of trade information when it comes to that 3rd overall pick. Now, if you have checked out my compensation for the NFL draft for the number 3 pick, make sure you check that video out. It's very informative when it comes to the exact amount of details and point system when it comes to the 3rd overall pick. And we could end up trading with the Miami Dolphins. To me, that's the most likely scenario. And we're going to hear about this in the coming days because of the NFL Combine, and that is extremely, extremely good to hear. I'm sure we're going to hear, some trade scenarios from those teams, whether it be the Miami Dolphins, the Las Vegas Raiders, Indianapolis Colts, teams such as that. And if you want to look at the compensation, I did make a video about that, and it will be extremely fun to hear about what teams are wanting, this, that, and the other when it comes to trade. Because I do believe it's more than likely that we trade the pick. When it comes to Tua Tagovailoa, we need to listen about the Combine, about how his health is. I think that's very vital when it comes to the Lions and the third overall pick. Not because we could pick him, but because we can trade him. So the more better health information we receive about Tua, the most positive when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Information came out today about his hand size, and he's got some big old hands, and that's great news. The more positive news about Tua, the more positive about our franchise as a whole, and that's always a good indication about what we can get the value for that third pick. So it's extremely entertaining me to hear about this. I'm extremely excited to hear about the NFL Combine rumors, and about trades. Also, when it comes to the NFL Combine, it's entertaining to see the speed of these prospects. We need to look for when it comes to Simmons and his speed he runs in a 40. All other prospects as well. It'll be fun to watch, see what Herbert's going to do in here. The more positive we get from these quarterbacks, the better overall for the Detroit Lions for trade value. And so look for that. But don't take wholeheartedly when it comes to the NFL Combine. Don't get overly excited about numbers. To me, when it comes to the NFL Combine, it's just a piece of the player. I mean, it's the piece of overall player. Look at it like you look at polls when it comes to politics. You have 20 different polls, and you don't really throw everything one chip at one poll. You kind of look at an aggregate, and that's what when I talk about when it comes to the NFL Combine. Don't simply just rely on that. Rely everything as a whole when it comes to attitude, health, the game tape itself, all sorts of things go into the mix when it comes to player evaluation. So that's coming up, and it's going to be extremely exciting to look forward to as well. Also, if we're going to release players that are currently under contract, I'm going to assume you were going to have to hear it before the trade deadline, before the fiscal year starts. So it'll be interesting to see if we have more player releases when it comes to the Detroit Lions, and kind of look forward to that if that does occur. Individuals such as a Rick Wagner could be released, and we'll see what takes place here soon. So a lot of stuff's happening, a lot of good information when it comes to our team is occurring, and it only gets better and better as time goes along because, folks, it's almost the free agency. The league year is about to begin. The NFL draft is right around the corner as well, and that's where we shine. And we talk about our loved team in the Detroit Lions. And if you're not a Detroit Lions fan, everything that the Lions do can affect your team as well when it comes to trades, this, that, and the other. So it will be interesting to see what takes place for our franchise going forward. And good information is coming. Again, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, you got to subscribe because we do live shows Tuesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time as well. Hit the bell because you may not get notified. Make sure you notify. When the free agency starts and the NFL draft starts, we are definitely locked in when it comes to those, dropping prospect information, and fairly good when it comes to accuracy about these players. As well as when the season starts, we do pre- and post-game shows. We have great commentary from all the individuals part of the Detroit Sports Alliance. So make sure you subscribe to my channel as well as all the other individuals in the description of my video. With that said, folks, adios.